I've experienced racism and other forms of hate crime throughout my life because obviously I look very different.
I think everyone is different and everyone will be different, and everyone has different skins, different feelings, different organs, but it's okay to be different.
Hate crime is any perceived hate from the individual around their personal characteristics. So it might be if you have a disability, or maybe your race or your religion, it might be physical, it might be verbal, any of that abuse that comes from a place based on who they are or what they look like, and that's how we categorise a hate crime.
A hate crime is when someone commits a crime against someone else due to xenophobia. He's xenophobic. He doesn't like the fact that the person is a different color, a different religion, a different gender.
My experience with hate crime has primarily been my family. So I come from a mixed black and white background. My dad was the primary victim for a lot of things. We had damage to property, name calling. Me and my sister have ourselves been called racist names while we've been on holiday. It's kind of become a part of my life. Like, I don't let it bother me as much, but for some people it can be quite difficult. But yeah, I think everyone's experienced it at some point.
The type of experiences I faced and my family are things such as name calling, which is the obvious one, verbal abuse, being spat at, I've had things thrown at me, I've had damage committed to property. Happily, I've never been beaten up, but sadly we know that things can go from what people think is relatively minor, name calling, to the most extreme. And obviously the most extreme was what happened with Anthony when he was murdered simply because of the colour of his skin.
We were walking down the street in the city centre, and a taxi driver drove by, and being the coward that he was, he stuck his head out and he screamed to my wife, who was walking a few feet ahead of me, dressed as a Muslim woman, and he screamed out at the top of his voice, "Go back to Iran!" And my wife is from Brooklyn, New York. She has nothing to do with Iran.
Across Merseyside, we probably have about 250 hate crimes a month. Liverpool, probably about half that as part of the makeup of Merseyside. We do see spikes when we see things happen in the news. So a bomb attack in the likes of the Manchester Arena, or the London attacks, and Brexit overall, we can see increases in reports of hate crime. And when you think about why people do it, in terms of either ignorance or fear, that's magnified when you have those sorts of events. People feel vulnerable, don't know who to blame, and blame the wrong people.
People think that Islam is tantamount to terrorism and extremism, and that's not the case.
I believe in Islam because I think it's a really good religion. Different people have different feelings, and if you have the same religion, you can talk about the Quran and everything.
The children here talk about Donald Trump. They don't talk about the Manchester bombing. And they say Donald Trump hates us, hates everybody, doesn't like anybody at all, except for white people. And we say, no, that's not true. But if you look yourself at the characterization of Donald Trump, you would say he hates everybody. And so if us as adults, we can't understand that on the media, how are children supposed to understand?
People who are different colours and get bullied, they won't really tell the other people that what they're feeling about, because they'll probably be scared that they will probably do something else.
Racism is doing prejudice and like judging someone by their look, skin colour, just being mean before you get to know them. Everyone can be racist and we all make mistakes, but sometimes some people make bigger mistakes than other people.
Ramadan, Muslims came out of the mosque after praying. There was a man who was listening to some of the representatives of British First, and he became radicalized. He got in his van and he ran over a number of people. The media reported and said He was mentally touched. But as soon as a Muslim commits a similar crime, like the young kid who set a bomb off in Manchester and he blew up people indiscriminately, they said Islamic terrorism. So those crazy, extreme, radical Muslims, we're always telling them, this is our country. We live here. We're not second-class citizens. Get out and go somewhere where you like, where you want to live.
I think we have an issue here, where do you belong? And it isn't a colour issue or really a race issue. It is more now a social issue that they don't see themselves as belonging here or as being British. They see themselves as Muslim. We have this issue, as I said before, over religion rather than race. So that we need to confront now as well.
If it doesn't stop, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And if it goes bigger, a lot more people will get more upset and have a worse life. And some people can even commit suicide.
The role of the police is to protect people, protect vulnerable people, but also to seek them out and find those reports where they don't exist already.
There was concerns that there wasn't a good picture across Merseyside. Some people were reporting, but some people weren't, and there was confusion around who to go to if you didn't feel comfortable talking to the police. So the Commissioner took the decision to make one system across Merseyside, so there's no doubt about where you need to go. One of the ways that the PCC has done that is to work with Stop Hate UK. One of the first areas is to obviously raise that awareness and try and really send a clear message that we don't accept hate crime. It's not something that you should just accept as part of your daily life. We want you to report it.
The Anthony Walker Foundation is a charity set up in the aftermath of Anthony's racist murder in 2005, and the main aims of the charity is to educate people about the harms of racism and all forms of hate crime, try and veer people away, particularly young people, from that type of negative behaviour and attitude towards others because of difference. Quite often people feel isolated, they feel that there's no one to turn to or there's no one who understands their situation. We have to demonstrate that we do have a sense of understanding of what it's like to be discriminated against, and so we can empathise with them, and hopefully that will open them up to talk to us about their experiences and identify how we can help them.
I think a lot of people don't know where they can go outside of the police, or don't always know what is a hate crime. Organisations that are able to step outside of their office and go and educate other people, I think there could be a bit more of a shift in direction towards a bit more support or more awareness of the support that there is.
We know that hate crime is vastly underreported, but if more resources were put into it, there'd be more services available to people, so people would be aware of what hate crime is, because sadly some people will experience hate crime but not appreciate that a hate crime is being committed. They think that name calling is just something that they've grown up and got used to living with, when clearly we know that the law says it's not. The resources need to be put in there to educate not just people who have experienced hate crime, but to stop the offending behaviour.
Reporting hate crime is really important. Everybody has, again, a responsibility in the community, because if we don't, this is one of the ways that the crime rate will continue to rise. If a person knows there's a price to pay, our society, our community, we as a people, we're not going to tolerate that stuff, then we'll see very quickly these types of issues being eradicated, because people are going to put the brakes on all of that anti-sociable behavior.
A good way of supporting people is for the collective community to understand what it's like to be a victim of racism and of other forms of hate crime, because it's about the community helping themselves, and there's nothing better than a stronger community. And people talk about community spirit, and if everyone stood together, then the likelihood is that would deter people from trying to offend against individuals within the community.
Our mosque is open every single day to the general public on a daily basis. We are inviting the local schools to our mosque, where we gave a presentation to see us and to meet us and to make their own determination who we are. Are we people to be feared? Are we all terrorists? So meeting with these kids, whether we go to the school, they come here, those are the messages.
The world has changed a lot. There is a lot more younger people exploring their identity and becoming to more of an understanding of who they are. Some people are still quite ignorant. Not everyone, but the Anthony Walker Foundation gives people a comfortable space to kind of talk about their background and all the differences that everybody has. And with big events that have been in the news, I think young people are taking a lot more responsibility for the world that they're growing up in and the world that they might bring children into. With some of the older teenagers, when I've done stuff with them, I said, well, you have the power to change the world around you, and you have the power to decide what community you want your children to grow up in, and now's kind of the time to change that.
We are very culturally diverse here. I've never known a school like it, really. And I think there should be more, rather than pigeonholing schools into different areas and different attitudes to different schools because they're better because they are not diverse. We need to be diverse for the community we live in and for the world we live in now, to understand each other.
The young people that we worked with today and in the past, hopefully they'll be the future. They'll be more responsible. They'll pass the right messages on and challenge these myths and negative messages that exist in society today.